Right, hello? Well, I'm just going to transfer some of my skills.
Help crafting something? Good to see you. Oh, hello. Good to see you. You need to craft something? Hi.
You have your mic on?
You need help with something? Oh, hello. Probably make some string out of old plastic bottles. Might come in handy.
Alright, I got rid of all my shit. You have your headset or no?
We're seeking skilled tradesmen. Would all construction workers, plumbers, welders, and electricians report to the main desk at the
Can you hear me?
possible convenience?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the problem. I was in a party. I was like,
Oh.
why isn't he talking? I couldn't hear you talking the whole time.
Oh, okay. I didn't say much the whole time. I think I was just like, I'm just gonna sell some shit or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long you have for your update to finish?
For Call of Duty, I don't know. It would tell me though, wouldn't it, while I was playing? Or
I think you have to go back to the dashboard, and then you have to like go to like. There.
79% it said.
Nice. How was your night last night?
It was going good, obviously, until the text message. But I think about 45 minutes after that, I was just like, all right. So I just started having fun again. But yeah, no, it was good. It's good that I can just walk home from there now. That's always cool.
Yeah. So but the girl, like, what happened? She canceled or something, or?
No. I mean, yeah. Different. But that's what I mean. It's not even like it hasn't even come close to any of that because that's really like you know what I mean. It wasn't my intention to do things like that, but being treated like I was, I think that's what bothered me. Because I literally am loyal to a fucking T. Even when we were broken up before, I never once thought about another girl or, oh, I'm going to go meet someone. I never think of stuff like that. But being accused of it, and it's like, but wait a sec. You know,
Yeah.
I never gave her any shit when she was trying to date a guy or whatever. I literally let it happen. Because I wasn't going to be that person. I'm not going to text her and give her shit because, like, if I went by her theories, I'd be yelling at her for everything. If I went by her rules. Because I'd be like, well, you have guys on Facebook. You have guys on Instagram. You have guys on Messenger. You probably have fucking TikTok. Like, you know what I mean? I would be like, well, look at all those guys on there. How do I know you're not dating one of them? Like, if I was going by her rules, that's how I'd be acting.
Yeah. And
But-
then you would just be considered the atypical, controlling.
And that's what I thought.
No.
And that's what I thought a girl would like about me. Like that's what I thought Kayla would like about me, though, is the fact that I'm not jealous. I'm not paranoid. She has the freedom to do whatever she wants. She doesn't have to ask
Right.
me to do shit. But of course, some of those things might be like more of a respect thing to ask. Like, obviously there's situations that you just want to ask. Like she goes away all the time to her mom's, and I never say anything up until like before she's like, oh, I'm going there for like 7 or 9 days. I'm like, oh no, that's fine and everything, but like maybe I might want to go do something on my days off. Like, and she's like, oh, okay, and I'm like, that's fine and everything, but like you didn't even think of that. Like, it's all about you. Like, it's funny she says that I was always the selfish one, but that's not fair. It never is because it just feels like the only things that are being remembered are the negatives. Like
Yeah, of course.
when I hear the
That's
phrase,
generally how it works.
well, I
Generally
know.
how it works.
I know negative has more memories than positives, but it just when I keep hearing the phrase like you stop trying, I get angry at that because I don't think I ever did. I don't. It's not that I stopped trying. It's that I held the bar so fucking high that there was times where I couldn't reach that bar. And
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I think what I said to you yesterday was, as I see it, and from everything that you've told me and everything that you've actually shown me that she said, it's pretty simple for interpretation, right? Like, she doesn't respect you. Like, it's that simple. It's not a huge convoluted thing where, you know, it needs to be interpreted and cross-examined and all this other stuff. She doesn't have any respect for you. And I don't really know what you can do to fix that, right? She obviously holds on to a lot of anger towards you, and you seem to be her scapegoat for everything that's wrong in her life. You know, she looks at you like you're the problem. You know, when she's there, she's miserable. When she's at home, she's finally happy, as she said in her text messages, right? So
yeah, but that could be said out of anger, though. I don't believe anyone when they say they're happy, because no one's really fucking happy. But
no, everybody could be happier, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, in all seriousness, though, right? Like this is just a respect problem, right? So
I think she's mad that I finally have a job and shit now. I feel that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? It probably could be. It probably could be one of those situations where she was asking you to get a job for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you just finally decided to go do it, and bam, now you're working. Right?
So my philosophy about this whole situation, and I have said this to her, I go, listen, the agreement was when we moved in together in February that things would change. And I held my part. I literally do everything around here, and I never rubbed it in until the other day, literally. I've never rubbed it in. I've done everything around here. The only thing that I didn't do was get a job. That was it. But she was literally being treated like a queen. I'd make sure I'd have food cooked. I would always ask if she needed anything. I would do the laundry. You know, I would do shit. And obviously, since I wasn't working, I wanted to do more of it because I'm not working. I had the time to do that shit, so it made sense.
Right.
But I wasn't doing that stuff before, so that should kind of tell you after 4 or 5 months of me doing it that I'm not just doing it for a week to show you. I'm permanently doing it.
I think it's as you said, right? She's somebody who holds on to the past. So it doesn't matter what you've done over the last 6 months. What matters is what you've done over the last 6 years. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
And the problem is that Kayla she's turning 30, okay? And like I've said, she is 30, sorry, or she's turning 31 or whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
Women aren't like us, right? There comes a time, like, and my mom said this to me, my sister said this to me too. She's like, you know, Ryan, at your age, it's going to be very hard to find a woman your age that's going to put up with how you live. And I was like, well, what the fuck does that mean? She's like, well, the fact that you don't have a car and the fact that you don't have this other stuff. She's like, you know, once a woman reaches a certain age, there's expectations, and this is the way that it's going to be, and she's not going to accept anything less. And I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck does that have to do with my current situation? She's like, look at it this way. When you're in your 20s, early 20s, you have all the time in the world to fuck up. She's like, when you're in your 30s, and situations are such as they are, eventually it starts to negatively affect your life. She's like, it starts to negatively affect your relationships. It starts to negatively affect everything. The problem is here in this situation is this isn't all of your own doing, right? But like I said, it seems like Kayla expected to be at a different part of her life, right? She expected to be married. She expected to have children and stuff like that. And I think it's really hard for her, you know, to accept that this is kind of where her life is at right now. And that's just something she kind of has to do on her own, right?
It just sucks that some people don't remember stuff, and I don't want to bring it up to them because it pisses them off. It's like, well, I thought we'd have a house at this time. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, if you didn't have bad credit, we would have had a house. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say
Well,
shit
I
like
mean-
that, but that's the honest truth. And if the house is the issue, which I know it's not, it's I don't know, man. Like,
It's not that simple.
I know, but I'm someone that I will take blame for stuff that I've done. Throughout my injury, was I obviously not affectionate? Of course. Was there excuses? No, I'm not going to make any. It was me. I was still a human being. I made those bad decisions. I didn't show affection. I didn't show that she was wanted. But for the last while, I have changed that around tenfold. And I would assume that doing it for months and months and every day, that would have shown something. That would have, and even if it's too late, by that theory, if it's too late that she wanted to get marriage and kids before, if that's the
Right.
theory, then why end it and then try to restart with someone else all over again? Like, if your issue is that you wanted it before and that it's
Right.
not happening, and why would you restart
Right.
your whole life to see if that can actually happen again, other than just stick it together and say, well, he obviously wants kids now. He wants to get married now. We've already talked about
right.
that. Fuck, like,
Right. She okay. So let me just put it this way. Okay. So the whole thing is okay. So 90% of this doesn't really have anything to do with you. So the problem is that she's unhappy with her life. Okay, she doesn't like her job. She
Well, yeah, I know that,
doesn't
yeah.
have any. She doesn't have any friends. You know, she barely has any friends. She doesn't have anybody that she can talk to. She's in a city where she doesn't really know anyone. Okay, she's given up 10 plus years of her life. And let me rebuke your question of why would you want to go do this with somebody else? Of course she doesn't want to go do that. That's fucking scary. Did you think that I want to be in the situation that I'm in right now?
no, listen,
Fucking 33
yeah,
years.
restarting, even for me, man, restarting is, I couldn't even imagine that. Restarting
Oh, yeah.
with someone else and then being like, there's a million questions in my head. I don't even know the answers to any of these. And how am I even going to be truthful about if I'm going to get any of those answers truthfully? Am I going to find out any surprises in a year or two? Like,
Of course. Yeah.
it just seems
Dude,
like it'd be better to
let me-
reconcile, but
Let me be perfectly honest with you, okay? And this is the perfectly blunt and honest truth. Anybody at our age who is single, who has no kids or anything, have baggage. We have baggage. 100%. 100%. Either you've just left a marriage, or you left a long-term relationship, or you just got divorced, or you broke off an engagement. You have baggage. Baggage. Tons of it. Tons of it. 90% of the women that I meet that are like in their mid-30s, early 30s who are single, who are suddenly just single, they left an abusive relationship, or their boyfriend was cheating, or their fiance broke off the marriage, or whatever it was. There's always just baggage.
yeah.
Every fucking time. Okay? So you're right. You're getting ready to come into the water that I'm in. And believe me, it fucking sucks. And it's scary. Okay? I did not want to be single at my age. But it is what it is. But regardless, the fact of the matter is, man, is that it's just Kayla's just not happy. And it doesn't matter what you do or how you act or do anything like that. At the end of the day, dude, it's about her. You know what? You could literally tomorrow go out, change everything about your life, okay? And at the end of the day, awesome. Perfect. But is that going to make her happy? Who knows? Honestly. That's what I said. This is one of those situations. You could text her every day. You could be like, I'm sorry, I'll change. Just give me another chance, I'll change. You've already done that. You did that, when you guys split up last time, right?
Like,
You won her back.
this
You won her back.
this would be my third chance if it actually even came around to it.
Okay.
But
So each time you've done things exactly the same, yeah? You've been like, I understand I did wrong. I understand I need to change things. I'm sorry. I know where I went wrong. Things will be different.
I did
That's
I
happened
did
to you
some, but not
twice.
all. So the first time we broke up, when we go back together, I made sure that I showed her that I loved her, and my emotion was more into it. But I didn't get a
Right,
job.
right. Okay, but here's the thing though, is that you're holding on to this fact that you didn't get a job as this is being the catalyst for everything that's going wrong. It's not. Kayla just isn't happy. She's just not happy. She's
Yeah.
not. And you know what? 90% of it, I'm sorry, you know, a good large portion of it is she's not happy with her life with you. But it's not all your fault. Some people just aren't happy. You know what? Kayla could be 100% in love with you. You know, she could love you. She could fucking give you the world. And tomorrow morning, dude, you could wake up and be like, I'm fucking miserable. I'm miserable. I hate my life. You know, I just want things to all be different. It's nothing personal. It's not just about Kayla. It's not just about anything. It's just that you're not happy.
Yeah, but why can't I? Why don't I feel like that? I like when it comes to Kayla, I can't think like that about her, like the way she does about me. I can't be like, well, I'm not happy. I know that I could be happy with her, but does that mean that I've just I've just have accustomed to figuring out how to be happy in any situation, or is it the fact that like
I think it's okay. So there's different levels to love, right? So and
oh, I just got kicked.
Safe area detected.
yo.
Oh, yeah, I didn't move my character. I think it booted me.
So yeah, so like I was saying, so I learned this with Kate. Okay, so I basically was in the exact same position, and this is actually what's kind of fucked up. Is my breakup is exactly like the situation that you're going through right now. Okay, so the problem is that like Kate never told me anything, right? So what I didn't realize is she was slowly becoming more and more miserable with me, and you know things eventually got to the point where she was just like, yeah, I'm done, and that was just the end of it. But it was because of my actions, right? So it wasn't because I was with a woman who didn't love me or anything like that. It was just like I steadily did things that just made it impossible for things to go back to the way they were before.
So how do you tell the
So-
difference if like, so what's hard for me is it's like you know someone
So before
well,
you ask
but
that question, before you ask that question, I'm going to be perfectly blunt with you right now. That question that you asked me before, why don't I feel that way about Kayla? That is because you love Kayla more than she loves you. You love Kayla more than she loves you. You're at the position right now where you want to keep fighting and you don't want to just give everything up. And she's at the position where she's just like, I can't do this shit anymore. I don't want to do this anymore.
But how do you tell the difference of
and-
someone that's over exaggerating a situation to being serious? Because this is where I sometimes have my 50-50. So I'm just going to give you one example. So we were in Vegas, okay? And there was like a Christmas ornament that was on a tree in a hotel, and she wanted it. But the tree was like in the middle. You're not supposed to be taking shit. So I took it. And we went to like 6 other places after. And then once we got back to the hotel, I realized, like, I put my hand in my pocket and it was broken. So I was like, oh shit. I was like, sorry, I broke this. She lost it. She was talking about how we're over and this is why that we shouldn't get back together. And I'm sitting there with a broken ornament in my pocket thinking, is this just the heat of the moment, or is this how she feels? Because I think she's obviously told me before, like obviously she's unhappy, this and that. But sometimes I think that maybe I didn't believe it because of her overreactions. Because there's tons of times that she just overdoes it. And I don't know if that's just someone losing their temper or if that's actually how they feel. Like, because who sits there and just says, like, we're done? Like, when I break an ornament by accident that I stole for you. Like, that's when I get a little confused.
Well, so you have to remember. So, okay. So whenever we get mad about something,
Could have been
it's
alcohol,
not
too, maybe.
just... What? No, but okay, so here's a very simple thing, and this is a lot of the stuff that I've been reading up on, and it's very true. When we get mad about something, we're not mad about the moment, okay? We're not mad about the moment. So you know how some people, all of a sudden, somebody, like, spills a drink, and the person's like, oh, fuck! And they just get up and freak out? You're not mad about the moment, okay? There's a lot of things that are behind that moment that add up to that contributing factor, okay? It's like when you take feelings and you put them into a bottle, you put them into a bottle, you put them into a bottle, then eventually you shake that bottle up and it just blows up. That is 100% true. That is I can't remember what the psychological term is, but when you keep burying your feelings, all of a sudden the littlest thing could happen and you just snap.
Yeah, but why can't I be like these people? Like, I don't understand it because I don't do it. Like, I don't. It's hard for me to comprehend someone just losing it over something small. Because if that was the case, I'd be allowed to lose my temper every 5 minutes of the day, just because my knee hurts or I can't physically do this or.
You're not like that though. There's a difference, right? Like, you don't want to be that person. That's the type of person I am. Believe me, you do not want to be that type of person, okay? You deal with shit as it comes, and you're like, it's dealt with, it's done. Me, I'm like, okay, this is annoying me, but I'm going to ignore it. And then I'm going to keep letting it happen over and over and over again. And instead of saying something, I'm just going to get more agitated as time goes on, till eventually the situation happens again. Even if it's a minor, tiny little thing, the next thing I know, I'm fucking spazzing out and punching holes in the walls and flipping fucking tables over. Because instead of me just dealing with the situation, I just buried it down inside and buried it down inside and buried it down inside. There's different people, right? Like, you say you have like an A temperament and I have a B temperament, okay? There's a difference. I'm a bottler. You're not a bottler, right? You're like, okay, that situation just pissed me off. We're going to deal with this right now. And then at the end of it, you're like, okay, it's done. We're moving on. I'm not that type of person. I'm like, okay, what you said just pissed me off, but okay, that's fine. And then I move on, right? So anyway, that seems like that's the type of person that Kayla is. Kayla has a lot of anger, resentment, and mistrust towards you. That is, she has been building up for years. And that is why she just snaps on you about the littlest fucking things. That's what it is. That's just years and years and years of frustration and anger that have been built up, right? And there's nothing you can... There's nothing you can do to empty that gas tank, man. There's nothing that you could
that's
do,
why we
Judy.
traveled. That's why we got to do anything that you wanted to do. Usually that shit releases that.
But it's like you said, Kayla doesn't care about that kind of stuff.
Well, she
Kayla
says
once
she
told
doesn't, but
me-
she was fucking
Kayla
enjoying
wa-
it though.
No, Kayla once told me that you went on the trips. She just came along.
Yeah, that's horse shit.
She said that she never really got to choose where you guys went.
Horse
It was
shit.
kind of you made the decision, and then she said that she just kind of came along with you. Like, that's what she felt like.
That's horseshit.
Like, she
Our
fe-
first Hawaii, man, that was definitely a collaboration. Hawaii. That was definitely... And Jamaica, too. She wanted to keep going back to Jamaica. And Vegas. Every time that I got fucking... The Cosmopolitan was like, oh, you have 4 free nights. I was like, well,
Yeah.
do you want to book some days off and we can go back? And she's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
The only time that I forced her to go on a vacation that she probably did not want to was the last Vegas trip for New Year's. Because I wanted to go so bad for New Year's to Las Vegas. The fucking...
Yeah.
That would have been the biggest fucking party in the world. And she didn't want
Right.
to go. And I don't blame her. I'm not saying, you know, but I had to bribe her. I was like, okay, we'll get the cat if we go. So we went. She got the cat, and I won't lie to you, I do love the cat. Like it's a fucking, it's fun to watch. It's, you know, it's a cat, man. Like it's a little shady sometimes, but that's how it happens. Like, but that's what
I mean, I gotta be
surprises me when
honest.
she says shit like that, though, because it's like, well, you never told me that. Like, if you said I don't want to go to Jamaica, I'd be like, okay, where do you want to go then? Like, before we actually went to Vegas, we were looking at Barbados. She wanted to swim with the pigs, I think it was. Yeah, the pigs. And yeah, we were looking at Barbados. I was looking at the over the water villas that are in the shape of a heart. So I was looking at that shit, and then when we tried to book it, they were like, "There's no rooms available." Blah blah blah. I'm like, "Fuck. Well, where do you want to go?" And I'm like, and then she mentioned Vegas, and I was like, "Can I get weed down there?" And then I was like, "Okay, let's go." Right? Like, so man, I'm starting to think like, why can't I have no problem being like, yeah, man, you know, that's my bad. That one's on me. You know, I fucked up. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Right. Well,
I feel sometimes that maybe she may not admit it, but
no, but I mean, here's the thing, okay? You're looking at it in a sense of, yes, I understand things were shitty for a long time, and you tried to pay her back with taking her on beautiful vacations and trips and doing all this other stuff. And you know what? To the average woman, she would have been like, wow, you know? But you yourself have admitted that Kayla never cared about that shit. The thing is that, and this is where the problem lies, is your values are not aligned with Kayla's values. Kayla just wants a house and wants to get married and wants to have babies and all that other stuff. She could have honestly have not gone on any of those trips, and she wouldn't have cared.
it would have just been worse because we would have been in the same situation, no kids, no marriage, and she wouldn't have had any of those experiences. So I think it would have been worse for her.
But that's the problem is though is that your values don't line up with hers.
Our timelines are
So
different.
right now, she values family, she values babies, she values children, she values a home, the marriage, everything. That is the most important thing in her life right now. That is the thing that she is missing. That is the thing that she wants. And she doesn't have it. So herein lies the problem, okay? And this is the issue. Is she's unhappy just generally about a bunch of other stuff. Okay? Now, Kayla, being Kayla, as you've already told me, she has a sense of overinflating things, making things overly complicated, and kind of blowing shit out of proportion, right? So what's happening is because she's so unhappy, she's connecting everything in her life, and she's going, well, you know, like if we had just gotten married and, you know, if we had just done this years ago, I wouldn't have to be dealing with all this stuff now, and, you know, maybe I could just be staying at home and taking care of the kids, and I wouldn't have to be working a double and doing all this other stuff, right? Like, that's just kind of the way, she's unhappy, And I have to be honest with you, Judy, you could pound your head against a brick wall for the next 6 days. You can't do anything about that. If
Yeah,
she's
but
unhappy with her...
Through our breakup right now, I even gave her options because, like I said, I'm not going to be that person that makes the situations worse. But she was like, "Oh, I hate my job," and she goes, "I just wish I had." I'm like, "Listen, I'm like, if you want to quit your job and take your time to find another job, I'm like, go ahead. I'm like, I'll cover the bills. I don't care." And this is while we were broken up in the last like 3.5 weeks. I brought that up to her. She's like, "No, I need the money. I have to pay rent," and I'm like,
"Wow."
I'm like, listen, like, I'm trying to, like, give you an option so you can relax and maybe find a new job. Maybe one that's, like, because we have old folks' homes that are, like, 20 feet away from us. Like, maybe you can have one where you can literally walk to work. Like, I'm trying to do stuff like that. Man, and I have to pay rent. I have to pay bills. Don't worry, I'll pay for this. It's like even me bringing it up as someone just trying to do something nice.
Okay, and then therein lies the problem. Okay, so I'm siding with both of you guys at this point. Okay, I'm not trying to throw Kayla under the bus. I'm definitely not trying to throw you under the bus. I'm taking my time to talk about all of this shit because I care about you guys and I know that this affects you. So I'm trying to help. So the problem is that, and this is where I'm going to kind of throw Kayla under the bus. That is a very shitty thing to say. That is a very childish thing to say. And I think that kind of falls into what you've said with her being a little bit childish and immature. For her to take such a generous offer from you, saying, "Hey, don't worry, I will pay for everything. You can sit around, you can wait, you can maybe reconsider your job options, you can do stuff like that." That is a very generous offer. That is something that I can guarantee you there are hundreds and thousands of women out there who would love to have a boyfriend that would say something like that.
And that offer was while we were broken up too, so it wasn't like...
So, for her to turn around and go, "No, I have to have a job so I can pay rent and do all this other stuff," that is again, that's not a freaking out about the moment thing. That is she feels you make more money than she does. You have more money than she does. You always have more money than she does. So her logical way of looking at it is, why am I paying rent and why am I paying bills? He's got all this money. I've taken care of him. I should be living the easy life. I shouldn't have to pay rent and pay bills and do all this other stuff. And I know that sounds like I'm throwing her under the bus as, one of these princesses that just doesn't want to pay bills and shit like that. But again, as I said, you're not freaking out because of the moment, so she's holding on to some long-term resentment against you of her having to pay bills and stuff like that. Denny, Duty, let's be perfectly honest. Like, you can tell how serious I am because I just called you by your actual name. I think... Yeah, this is literally how serious I am about this stuff. I literally think that she thought her lifestyle was going to be completely different.
So did I, actually.
I think that she thought she was going to take care of you, get married, have kids, do stuff like that. She wasn't going to have to work. She wasn't going to have to do anything. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from Kayla. Make sure you move your character so you don't get disconnected. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kayla. I really am not. I care about her. I care about you guys. Again, as I said. But that type of a comment, and again, not coming from a situation that's happening now, it honestly seems like to me that she thought that she would just be on easy street. That she wouldn't have to work, that she wouldn't have to do anything. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with, Duty, because, like, are you really going to be able... So say she gets pregnant tomorrow, okay? She gets pregnant tomorrow. You guys... Are you really going to be able to support her as a stay-at-home mom? Taking care of yourself, taking care of the house, taking care of your baby or babies for the rest of your life? Are you going to be able to support the entire family? And then, let me add this on top of that. What if all of a sudden she decides to freak out again, takes your baby, and leaves?
Yeah.
And then takes you to court? And she goes, well, he gets he works and he gets a $5,800 a month settlement, so I want $2,400 a month in child support.
Sorry, I just want to correct you on that. Nobody can touch
Yeah.
my structural settlements. Doesn't matter if someone sues me or child support. Nobody's allowed to touch that. It's cemented in there.
Well, then
yeah.
then you don't have to worry about that. Okay, but still.
I get your
still
point,
gonna
though.
have
No, you're
child
still right.
support payments.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still
my
gonna have
job,
child
they'll do
support
it.
payments. Yeah, so they're gonna take. So you're gonna be working for free every month, almost. You're gonna be working like fucking 60 hours a month for free, if not more than that. Anyway, so I'm not. So I'm sorry for focusing on that too much, but you've talked to me about this already, so you understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So you need to start seriously taking a look at your future and what's important to you. And you really need to start thinking to yourself, what if I give this woman everything that she wants? And it's still not good enough. What are you going to do? Duty? Like, are you going to spend the rest of your life feeling like you're not good enough? Like, whatever you do isn't good enough? Like, whatever you say isn't good enough? Do you really want to spend the rest of your life feeling like this?
Well, no, because
much
it sucks. Because I thought like me going back to work was such a huge fucking
It is
stone
It
for
is,
me.
But dude, you're dating a woman that doesn't care. She doesn't care. I mean, let's be perfectly honest with you, dude. She doesn't care.
Do you actually want?
she's
So
looking at it-
my first day of work, I didn't expect it to go like this. But I was sitting like I put up my work pants on and I went to the bedroom and sat down for like 10 minutes and just to kind of like just relax with her before I left and and she was like, well, you got all that dog hair in your pants. They're not gonna like that there. And then I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, and I start walking out and like out of the room because it was my first day at work. Like I didn't want to have a fucking argument. Like this is my first day back in a long. And then she's like, I'm about to leave, and she's like crying on the couch, and I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, I just ruined your first day. She goes, I can't believe I did that. It was like one of the first times in a little bit where I've kind of seen her be a little bit more human about something that she did wrong. But it still felt like shit for me because now I have to leave on those type of terms because I had to leave quick. My Uber's downstairs. I had to go. So now I'm going after somewhat of a small argument and then seeing her crying on the couch. So I gave her a hug. I said, don't worry about it. You didn't ruin it. And I left. So
yeah, I mean that's kind of fucked up. But I mean, okay, so
like it was nice to
this
see
is
her
very-
sit there and be like, I did something wrong.
yeah, but like that's crazy, dude. Like for her to only be able to admit she did something wrong about something that clearly hurt you so much, like you were like, wow, this is a huge milestone for me. You know, that's like an alcoholic who, you know, it's their first time getting back into a car, you know, since a horrible accident or something like that. You know, it's their first time getting ready to get back into a car after, you know, almost dying or something. And, you know, their spouse comes out and they're like, Jesus fucking Christ, are you going to move that fucking thing or what?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not like you, man. Like, I'm not like that. Like, if that was me, I would have got out of the car and probably fucking just, like, I can't deal with shit like that. Like, coming from women especially. Like, I just can't deal with it. Like, if you're going to give me shit about something, just do it, right? But I will admit to you right now, when a woman does something like that to me, it doesn't matter who it is, I back them down. Like, into a corner. I'm like, you're not going to fucking talk to me like that. And maybe that's part of my problem. Like, that's a character flaw on my end. But I can't accept it.
Well, that's the thing is that she knows that I'm capable of that. We obviously we've been together for so long. She knows that I obviously can have a pretty bad temper, but as of a long time now, it rarely comes out. I just don't feel the need for the energy to be wasted, and it just surprises me that she sometimes the way that there's times where I don't deserve to be yelled at and shit. I know that for a fact, and then there's times that I do. But the times that I don't deserve to be yelled at, I just get confused because she knows damn well that when you push anyone past a point, eventually I'm going to yell back. But it's almost like she forgot about that. And I just don't want to bring that out. I don't want to do that. I don't.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Maybe that reconnects with the stuff of you stop trying. Right? Like, she doesn't think that there's any passion there. Right? Like, Again, I don't know. I could just be talking out of my ass. I don't know. But here's the number one thing that you need to focus on, okay, is your future. Okay? You are just getting back to work. It's in the very beginning stages. Make sure to move your guys so you don't get booted.
Okay.
You're just in the very beginning stages of getting back to work, okay? You have a lot of stuff that's going on.
Yeah, I'm just worried about getting
And to be-
hired on. That'll be
And here's the thing. You have a positive outlook. You have something positive to focus on. Imagine she did this shit again when you weren't working and stuff like that. It would have been like last time, right? What I'm saying is that if you do the same thing that you've done all the other times, right? Texting her, texting her all the time, apologizing, doing all this other stuff, nothing is going to change. Nothing's going to change. She needs to realize that she broke up with you and you're okay with that. Because you don't have a choice, dude. Like, you don't have a choice.
This is the time where I feel like I don't have a choice because...
Yeah, she left you, man. It doesn't mean that you need to go out and fuck other chicks and get your dick wet and fuck around and play games and do all this other stuff.
That's kind of how it's almost looking after last night. It's like, I've been so loyal that I don't even have female friends. Like, I don't. And I that's actually by choice. That's because I understand people. And I know that I can take more abuse in life than the average person. So I'd rather do the sacrifice of not having all that. Because then I don't have to explain that. And I'm a reasonable person that I would never slam someone else for having male, female friends on their Facebook and stuff like that. So I was the one that was like, I'm not going to have any female friends. And that's that. And I don't have to worry. And I don't care if she does because I'm not paranoid and jealous. So that's how that worked out. I've never given her shit up until like the other weeks. That was it.
Here's the thing that I'm hearing. Your relationship is very lopsided. Very, very lopsided. Okay? She and I've looked at her Facebook wall and how many friends and shit that she has. Like 80% of the people on her Facebook are all guys.
I know, yeah.
Right? Whatever. That doesn't mean that she's out fucking touching their sausage and doing all this other shit. Who cares?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who cares? You're like me in that sense. I don't give a fuck, right? I'm not that type of dude. I'm not the jealous type. I'm just not like that.
Well, I know
right?
I have more to offer. I think that's actually where some of it comes. My confidence is knowing that I can do more or better.
I'm fine. I have a large penis. I make good money, right? Like what's the point in lying? If I was a guy who had like a small dick, you know what I mean, and all this, and was like bad in bed, and had zero confidence, I would be the first person to tell you, like, oh God, I can't trust, oh, she's probably out seeing another dude and stuff like that, right? I just don't have those problems, right? I'm guaranteeing you don't have a small pecker, so you just don't worry about that kind of stuff, right? Those are the problems that guys like. Anyway, so I'm getting off topic. So the problem is here, and this is like the one thing that I'm having a lot of trouble letting go of, is the fact, like what you said to her and how she reacted. Like you said that, hey, I'll do this for you, and you could stay home and you could do all this other stuff, and she threw it in your face. That's super fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like that's crazy. That's like super fucked up. Like, I don't know how you stayed calm in that situation.
Well,
like, I don't know how you did
that.
it. Man.
That one's a little bit easier to stay calm in because you just throw it an offer, someone rejects it. It's simple as that.
But that's super fucked up, dude. Like, here's the thing, okay? And here's another thing I'm gonna say to you, okay? And this is how, how I mentioned that comment. It's like, oh, Kayla doesn't respect you and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Do you want to know how I came to that term? So I just want you to know that I'm not just talking out of my ass. Okay? So you don't talk to other girls, as far as Kayla knows.
Yeah.
You don't have other girls on your Facebook. You don't use social media at all. So Kayla knows you're not talking to other chicks. Okay? Whenever you're out in public, when you talk to a woman, or, something like that happens, Kayla gets in your face and she's like, who's that? who's that bitch? And you're just like, it's nobody, it's just a friend. She's like, You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
every single time a woman gets close to you, Kayla has checked you. She'd be like, what are you talking to that bitch for? And you've been like, oh, no, it's nothing, blah, 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 blah. So in her eyes, she's like, I know he's not talking to other women, so I don't have to worry about that. I've never had to worry about that. And if I found out he was, I would just confront him about it, and he would tell me the truth. So, A, she's not worried about you going behind her back or talking to other women or doing anything like that. To be honest with you, I don't think she respects you enough to even think that you would.
You know how
Two.
many girls would pray for a guy to not even have to worry. You know what I mean? That's like one of the biggest
Yeah.
assets.
No, not nowadays, man. You'd be surprised. You know, I have been with more women, and I understand my history with women is not the greatest, okay? But I've slept with a lot of women. I've been around a lot of women. I never brag about it because I think it's just bullshit. And most of the guys who brag constantly are just fucking liars.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't talk like this, but I've slept with a lot of women. You know, probably like 50 or 60. Like, if I'm just being realistically honest with you. And again, going back to why I shoot blanks, I don't have any kids, right? So anyway, I have been with a lot of women who are not used to that. So when I first started out, I was very much like, oh my God, baby, I'll buy you anything you want. And I was like that super loyal guy, right? And I realized that like I kept getting fucked over. And then eventually over time, I was like, who the fuck are you talking to? Let me see your phone. All this other shit. I honestly got more respect by being 50-50 than I ever did with being 100 or 100. If you're, who the fuck are you talking to, bitch? Like, and you're doing that whole show me your phone and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you do that, you're an abusive prick, and you know you're that piece of shit boyfriend that every girl and her friends love to talk about. If you're the guy that's like, oh, it's okay, baby, I trust you, and you know she's laying in bed at night and she's texting on her phone and you just never say anything or anything like that, that is like ground zero right there that she can fucking just get away with it, right? So you have to be 50-50. You have to be like, oh, who are you talking to? She'd be like, oh, nobody. You'd be like, oh, is it a guy? She'd be like, no, it's my friend, blah, blah, blah. And then just be like, ha, 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 and just play it off. That's what I do now.
Yeah,
You know
but
what
it's
I
so
mean?
weird.
Then
It's
if
like,
she's like-
so this is why I say it's a double-edged sword. So you know you do shit like that, and they're like, oh, why are you so fucking jealous? And that can start an argument. But if you don't do it, it's like, well, you don't even care. You don't even ask me who I'm talking to anymore. It's like, well, if I
100%.
did, it's like, what the fuck? Like, there's no right answer on this test. It's a trick question.
There isn't, bro. You have to be 50-50. Dog, I'm telling you now, man. You have to learn, dude. You gotta do it, man. Honestly, that there's a reason why my last couple of relationships have been multiple years. Okay? Originally, before it was like, what, 6 months, 8 months, a year, maybe, right? There's just because that was just the way that I became. But I do it in a mutual way, right? Like, I do it in a respectful way. Like, I'm not going to snatch your phone out of your hand and be like, who the fuck are you talking to? But I'm also going to show my dominance as a man, as in, like, yeah, you're my woman, and, you know, I don't want you just going and talking to other fucking guys, you know? I'm not
Yeah.
going to fucking pussyfoot or what kind of a man wants another man walking into his house and fucking pissing on his walls?
Well, yeah.
Like, are you gonna let that shit happen? Are you gonna let a man walk into your house and just eat your food and piss on your walls? Of course not. You're not gonna let that shit happen. So yeah, of course you have to check your woman and
like, she has a cousin, okay, and this cousin, he first of all, he rubs me the wrong way, okay? He gives me a bad vibe. So the history is that he slept. So her cousin slept with Kayla's brother's fiance. That was the rumor a long, long time. Okay, that was the rumor. That's what Noelle said. That's the fiance. And then up until like 6 months ago or something, Kayla was like, no, Noelle was just lying to get back at Matt and this and that. So now the story got, changed. So I didn't know what to believe. So I don't know if I've ever told you before, but Kayla is against people that do cocaine. Okay, like I'm talking about like against. Like if it gets brought up or if she knows someone's doing it or someone's in their room, she'll just be different. Okay. Oh, by hold though, she doesn't care if her cousin does it. So this is what pissed me off. I said, because she told me the one time, the last time we were broken up, she was like, I didn't know my cousin did cocaine. And I'm like, the one that
Is he
drives you
Spanish?
around all the time? And she's like,
Is he
yeah.
Spanish?
No. No, just a white
He's not
guy.
Spanish?
No.
He's a white boy. Okay, I thought it was her.
Well, no,
actual
it's a
cousin.
no, cousin. Yeah, not real
Okay.
blood.
All right.
So I was like, well, that's obviously bad, though. I'm like, he drives you around everywhere. How do you know that he's not doing coke while he's driving you around? Because I'm starting to get a little pissed off now.
He's a cokehead, of course.
Yeah,
he is.
and she's already told me all of his issues, that he's dating like a 50-year-old or something like that, and she cheats on him all the time. Like, that's his life, okay? I'm not even gonna go past that. And then when Kayla was over there once, apparently his girlfriend or whatever came downstairs and was like, "Who's this?" And she's like, "That's my cousin." She's like, "Bullshit. She's a different color." And and so obviously they explained it, and because Kayla was telling me this, and I laughed at that part too. But
She's a different color.
yeah. So and then every time I bring it up, I'm like, "So is your cousin still doing coke?" And she fucking gets mad at me. And I'm like, "Wait a sec. I thought you don't like when people do coke, but it's all right if your family member does it and that he drives you around." So the one time he
forget to
drove her
move.
back here, and she was like, "Oh, he's just gonna stop by and have a joint." And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Well, it's fucking too late now. You're 5 minutes away." To say no, right? So he literally just comes in and doesn't even say hi to me. And it makes me want to punch him right in the face. It does. Because not only do I know he's a coke addict, he's probably on cocaine right now. And the joint that he already had pre-rolled, I didn't want to say this to Kayla because, of course, she would have denied it and freaked out. It felt like there was something else in there. Because it was pre-rolled, he didn't roll it here, and when I smoked it, I felt like there was something else in there. I don't know what it was. It was not cocaine because nothing went numb, but I was feeling very weird. And I was like,
Oh, Sherm.
yeah.
Sherm or something like that. Yeah.
Like, it was just...
I mean, but here's the fact here's the facts though. Okay, this is kind of like, I mean, I get it. The guy's a dick and
Oh,
whatever.
wait, hold
like
on.
that.
Let me give you one more thing. One more.
That's
Okay, so
another thing that.
he sells her weed,
Well, look-
okay? So
Uh-huh.
when she brings the weed back, I scale it up. The last 2 times I was like, he shorted you 2 grams on this one right here. And somehow I get yelled at. So I'm like, your cousin just ripped you off $20. And she didn't even answer it. She was like, "Ah." And I was like, what the fuck? And then so it happened again, and it was 3 grams. I'm like, listen, like, he just shorted you 3 grams. That's $30 of your money that he just ripped you off. I'm like, he's ripping you off on purpose. This isn't an accident. And then I get yelled at for that. It's like, holy shit. Like, how much... just because the guy's got a bad life doesn't mean you got to give him all the slack in the world.
No, but here, let me say something to you, and this is something that I learned, okay? And this is something that will help me for the rest of my life, and this is something that it took me a lot of realization. It took me a lot of to realize this. It does not matter how much you are in love with somebody. It does not matter how much you know somebody. It does not matter how close you believe you are to somebody. Family is family.
Yeah.
When it comes to
I know
family
that feeling.
duty, just keep your mouth shut. Honestly.
Well,
From
no,
this point forward-
I was always backing her up with the family shit. I was never on her family side ever. I was always on her side, even sometimes maybe when I shouldn't have been, which I do regret because I always like to be on the right side of an argument regardless
Right.
of who the people are in the conversation, because that's how you solve problems. And it shows the other person that you're not being biased as well. And he's the only one that I started to have an issue with because of the cocaine. She's like, "Oh, I shouldn't have told you." And I'm like, "Yeah, why? So I would have found out when you're fucking in a car accident and they have to test him and he's on cocaine? That's how I would have to find out then?" Like, I was doing it out of me caring. Like,
Yeah,
it
but
had nothing to do with me being
she-
controlling, or I'd be doing that with everybody she knows. But no, it was just about the cocaine issue. He's driving
Well,
you
she
around
doesn't-
while
she-
he's intoxicated, really.
She doesn't look at it like that, right?
Oh, I know. Figured that one out.
She looks at it like this sense of like, dude, I mean, I like, it's hard for me, dude, because like part of me is just, I want to tell you, like, I don't think this is gonna work out for you. and I think you should just try and be on your own and stuff like that. But it's not my place, man. That there is a long history there. That is a long, over a century of your life that you're trying to move on from, and you're going into this fucking void of being single for the first time in over 10 years. It's a very scary thing, right? So part of me wants to be like, bro, I think you just need to, you know, you don't need to go fuck other people, okay? You don't need to go and get emotionally involved with anybody. You don't need to do anything. The only thing that you need to do is go to work and focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And people are like,
I know.
oh, it's not that easy, that blah, blah, blah.
Eh,
Yes, it is. I'm doing it
Yeah.
right now.
No, it
Fucking 2
actually is
months
somewhat easy.
2 months ago, I was sitting here wallowing in self-pity, talking to you about how fucking sad I was and all this other pathetic shit. And now I just study and go to work and focus on my job and I read, and I'm happier than I've been in a long fucking time. Kate came out of nowhere and came to see me because I hadn't been fucking texting her, hadn't been talking to her, hadn't been doing fucking anything. She's like, oh, hey, I'm going to come over and cook you dinner. I was like, whatever. Come, don't come. I didn't ask her to. She just did on her own. Right? And I don't care. I really could care less. She could come. If I don't see her again for another 6 months, I don't give a shit. But she knows that now. She's like, so what have you been up to? I was like, we're just working, just doing stuff like that. You know, I was like, you came here to see me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not here to kiss your ass. You said that you were going to come and cook me dinner, so go fucking make dinner. Right? I was working while she was fucking cooking. There was no, oh my God, baby, I'm so happy to see you, and oh my God, I miss you so much. I was just like, okay, sure. You said you're going to come over and cook me dinner, so what are we doing?
Yeah.
Right? And that wasn't from me being a cold person. That was from me just being like, I'm fucking working on myself. I don't care about what you're doing. You can make yourself happy. Okay? If Kayla was to die tomorrow, you still have another 30, 40, 50 years on this planet where you need to figure out who you are and what makes you happy and what you want to do and stuff like that. You just got to be selfish.
I think I did mine backwards in life, but I think I'm at that point. But I did a lot of my selfish stuff, and this is what pisses me off. Is I was listening to people around me. I was listening to my doctors, my lawyers, and they came to the conclusion because they've had millions of these cases. They understand it. They know what the people go through, and they said, listen, like we've looked at your history from when you were born until now. You're not a selfish person. What you have to do right now is be selfish. You have to worry about yourself. You have to worry about what you got to do, because this is going to be a long recovery for you, a long road after recovery. You're going to need to be selfish until this is done. And I may have taken that too much to heart, but I was very selfish. And I learned a lot of lessons through doing that, and I'm at the point now where not only am I not selfish, I know how to be when I need to be. But it just sucks that
it's not so much selfish. So here's the thing, okay? Kayla is Kayla. Denny is Denny. Kayla and Denny together. Fun times. Yay. Denny separate from Kayla. Denny has job. Denny has bills. Denny has money he has to make. Denny has things that make him happy. Separate from Kayla. Kayla likes to make money. Kayla has a job. Kayla gets miserable. Kayla gets super angry about everything. Kayla blames everything on Denny. Denny can't focus on his job. Denny can't make money. Denny can't concentrate. Denny's world goes into chaos. Now, both of you guys are miserable. Both of you guys are fucking miserable now. So, let me put it this way. I have not seen any compassion or anything like that coming from Kayla. All I have seen is anger.
and from someone that's got such a big heart too. It's amazing.
Because maybe she's doing what you did to her. Maybe she's finally snapped. Maybe she's finally like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm done. I'm focusing on myself. I'm doing what I want to do. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, so the other day, like, the counter, obviously, like, you know, she leaves, like, the counters dirty and shit, and, you know, she was like, oh, what's this over here? I'm like, oh, that's like a small wrapper from, like, something that I opened. I'm like, I'll throw that out. And as a joke, I'm like, well, it's not like all the other stuff on the counter that you leave and I just clean up. And I laughed as I said it, and she's like, well, I did that for 8 years. I'm like, is that why you don't do anything around here? Like, it was the one time where I said something because I hear that same sentence. Well, I did that for the
you
last
stood up
8
for
years.
yourself.
And it's like,
stood up for
I
yourself.
understand you did. And there's been times where I've thanked her many, many times. Maybe some of them were a little bit late, but I thanked her for all that. And I did. And I will never forget that, regardless of what happens with us. Of course I'll never forget
What
that.
did
You
she
kidding
say?
me? Well,
What did she say when you said
no, she started to get a little bit upset. Yeah.
that? So? You stood up for yourself.
But that's
No,
what I
here's
mean
the-
though. If I do stuff like that, it just makes it worse. But if I just sit there and be like, I'll just take the punch on the chin and just that's it, because
Okay. First of all, I don't know when you became like this. This is weird. This is really strange. You have changed a lot because that's not the guy that I know.
I know.
I've never known you to just take shit. Dude, what you're saying to me is like sounds like you're in an abusive relationship.
I just don't want to do it with her. I just don't want to pump my chest out with her because I know what
Why?
the result. Because man, it
she'll
just makes
yell
it
at
more
you?
awkward. No, it just makes it more awkward. For me,
Okay.
how I'm happy in life is that I can control the situations around me, and by doing that is by just sitting there and just, you know what, I hear what you're saying. Okay, let's move on to the next conversation or whatever, because it's gonna make me emotionally get riled up, and I don't need that, especially since I'm working now. I'm working at a job that if I'm not focused, man, I can fucking burn my finger off. Like I literally have to be the most mental strong that I've ever had to be, right? Like during these moments while I'm working. My job is serious
Okay,
shit, and you know what? Just the other day, I joked about that too. I was sitting here just before work, and I was like, gotta go to work. Fuck, this shit sucks. She's like, yeah, try working 11 hours at my job. And then I kind of I leaned over for a sec, and I went, I know I've only been at my job for 6-7 days, but my job is 100 times harder than yours. I'm like, yes, you're a PSW. Yes, you had to get a license for it, but you told me the other day that anyone can get a license for it. Literally, you just do the test. And I go, listen, my job, I only get a half-hour break, and by the time you even walk to the lunchroom, it's 25 minutes. So I stand up for 7.5 hours, running a machine that has hot parts in it that I have to grab with my fucking gloves every time the machine opens, and I have to do that shit for 7.5 hours. I don't get to look at my phone. I don't get to sit down. I don't get to sleep for an hour in the workroom like you do. I don't get to do any of that. She sleeps for an hour on her break, and then she has other breaks as well. I'm like, I don't get any of that. And look at my injuries. I go, there's no way you can do one of my shifts. One of my shifts would kill you. You would quit halfway through. And she actually didn't respond to it. More or less like, maybe he's right. Like, I didn't
Well,
want
you
to
put
take
her-
anything
you
away
put-
from her, but my job
You
is
put
not
her in her
easy.
place. You put her in her place. So here's the thing, okay? I'm not trying to tell you how you need to be in your relationship. What I am saying is that you have somebody who is causing problems in your life.
I think I'm picking
Because
my
of
battles,
shit.
it sounds like, when I'm explaining it.
No, well, you are. Yeah, you are. But, dude, okay. So how about this, right? So say I was living with you. Every single day, as soon as you got up and you were getting ready for work and shit like that, I started a fight with you. And then all of a sudden you were like, oh my God, fuck this shit. And you just walked away. And then before you left, I started another fight with you. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm not dealing with this, I gotta go. You left. Now, I'm texting you while you're at work, fighting with you. Then all of a sudden you're like, Jesus Christ, I'm at fucking work. Then all of a sudden, all day you're worrying about, oh fuck man, okay, my shift's over. Oh great, now I gotta go home and it's gonna be a huge fight, and that's causing you stress and anxiety. And then as soon as you get in the door, I start a fight with you.
You want to know what's
I
sad?
do that.
I have anxiety for one issue, and I don't like to put blame on other people. I never do. She actually gave me anxiety for text messages. When we first broke up, obviously it was fucking hard on me because I never saw that shit coming. It was really hard. It really was. I know it was hard on both of us, but it hit me harder. Like
I know, I saw. I saw.
She's supposed to have the bigger heart, but sometimes I feel like my emotion is, I have way more emotion. And I think that when it happened, I'd be at home and we were good before she went to work. but it felt like she was talking to someone, and then I would get this text of, maybe we might not be good together, and maybe we should, and then my anxiety would kick in, and then everything would just like feel like it just dropped down a hill. And then
like
there's
your
times where
world
I'd get
is
those
spinning out of
messages when I'm
control,
out like having a good time, and I read a text message and it's about like us breaking up, and and I'm like, oh my God. So now every
throws you
time I
for
get
a
a
loop.
text, man, maybe it's subconsciously, it's why I ignore a lot of people when they text me. I just don't want to look at my fucking phone. But
But duty, you're not okay. You haven't everything that you're telling me. If it was anybody else who would be involved in this situation, they would be like, "Why the fuck are you still with Kayla?" You got to give me that credit. Give me that credit. If you were to talk to anybody else like this, the first thing they would say, they would be like, "Why are you still with her?
You want to know
are
why?
you putting up with this
I
shit?"
think I figured it out in the last day or two. It's because I don't think it's totally her. I really think that she has some type of disease or issue that she needs to get help with. Think of it. If you're with someone that's a drug addict, you kind of don't want to leave them. You want to help them first. You want to be like, listen, like, go to rehab, like, see what's wrong with you, because this isn't you. This isn't you, right?
She's probably bipolar, and she's probably bipolar and stuff like that. But dude, you told me already. You tried to be like, hey, let's go get you help. Let's go talk to the doctor. Let's go do something like that. And you basically said she freaked out on you and said that you're saying I'm crazy and all this other shit. Dude.
Yeah, everything could be turned around, I guess.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this is me being perfectly blunt and being perfectly honest with you, okay? Kayla doesn't respect you. She doesn't respect you. She doesn't respect anything that you guys have going on for your life. She has separated herself from you in every possible way. She doesn't feel that you share a home together. She feels like she's just somebody who... She doesn't feel like she has a life with you. She feels like you're just somebody who's there. That's it. And you can't change that, dude. There's nothing that you could do. You could honestly sit alone in the house for the next week, racking your brain of what can I do, what can I say, what can I change, what can I say, what can I do, what can I plead, what can I say. There's nothing you could say, dude, because it's not you. You're not the person who keeps breaking up with her. You're not the person who's at the point now where you're unhappy with your life together. You're torturing yourself, dude. And I wish I could tell you what to do, but you're a grown man. You're gonna figure it out on your own. But all I'm saying is, man, is that you've got your own life to live. And I'm trying to be honest, and I'm trying to be truthful, and I'm trying to be fair to both of you. And I'm not saying that it's all Kayla, and I'm not saying that it's all you, and I'm not saying
it's
that
both
one
of us.
did more
It's
than the
going to be
other.
both of us. Simple as that, right?
Of course it is.
But see, I can
the
admit that.
relationship-
I don't know why she can't.
Judy, the relationship right now is it's about Kayla.
Yeah.
What does Kayla want? What does Kayla need? What
Well,
makes
those
Kayla
answers
happy?
are simple. It's just like the timelines are. We just had different timelines. If I could go back, of course I would take all those surgeries away. Of course I would fucking not be hit by. You know what? I fucking hate that phrase in life, but you can't go back. And it sucks because I feel like a lot of
Things would be
people
completely
don't
different.
understand what it was like to be in that situation, and it's hard for me to express what it was like because I'm trying to forget a lot of that.
So the person that's supposed to be in love with you, the one person who's supposed to be your soulmate, the person who's supposed to be staying by your side through everything, who knows more than anybody else will know, more than me, more than your family, more than your own parents. She's seen more and been with you through more than anybody will ever know, okay? When that person turns on you and uses all of that weakness against you, that is when there is a line that has been crossed.
Yeah.
Okay? You can't come back from that, dude. You just can't. Okay? You do not... that would be like if me and you were together through multiple years of just horrible shit, horrible things happening. Then all of a sudden, you know, both get to a position where things are good. And every single time I talk to you, I was like, hey man, you remember when this happened? Hey man, you remember when you did this? What about this? What about this? What about this? And I just kept compounding that on you. That is what my sister did to me, Duty, for years.
Yeah.
For years. My sister did that to me. She never let anything go. She always brought up the past. She knew everything. My sister knew everything that I did, every little mistake I ever made, every little fucked up thing I ever said. My sister knew exactly what to say or do to just fucking make me freak out and destroy my life. If she knew that I was having a good day, my sister knew exactly what to say to make me miserable.
Yeah.
And you know what fixed that whole situation? We stopped talking.
Yeah,
We
fair
don't
enough.
speak. And that is the only way that things were ever going to change. We were in a relationship, or me and my sister had the type of a relationship where clearly we didn't respect each other as people. We didn't respect each other as brother and sister. And it was just time to move on.
Yeah.
There was nothing left to say. And of course, I lost my sister. You know, that's my sister, right? She raised me. When my mom abandoned us and all that other stuff, it was me, you, and my sister, right?
Yeah.
That was it. You know, my sister was there when my mom wasn't. My sister taught me to shave. You know, this is my sister. Like, she taught me to shave. She was the very first person in my life. Me being a grown man, my sister taught me to shave. So I remember that memory to this day. Like, that is a big, huge thing. And all I'm trying to say to you, Duty, is I understand. And I wish the circumstances were different. I wish Nicole wasn't like that, as much as I wish Kayla wasn't like that to you. But you have to stop. There has to be a line in the sand that gets crossed. And when somebody goes, I took care of you for 8 years, I wiped your ass, I did everything for you, and this is how you repay me, blah, blah, I took care of you when you were in the hospital, I took care of you when you were sick.
Well, that's why
part.
she put that in capital. She was like, I took care of you when you had mono. Like, yeah, and then you left the hospital because you had a date the next day. Like,
What did you say, Duty? Until death do us part, and in sickness and in health, yeah?
yep.
She broke her vows and you're not even married.
No, I know. I've thought about that one.
She broke her vows and you're not even married. Like, what else is there to say, Duty? Like, I wish I could, you know what, dude? Like, I wish I could be the type of person that's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. You'll figure it out. But I'm not that type of person. Right? Like, I'm just not that type of person. I wish I could just, get into these conversations with you and just be like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You'll figure it out, bro. I don't know. I'm not that guy. But you need to realize that there was a very fine line that was crossed, and you've kind of brought it up a little bit and stuff like that, but I know that this is probably a sticking point for you. When somebody throws all of that in your face, oh, well, if you didn't get hit by a car and all this stuff didn't happen, our lives would be better and all this other stuff, I don't know how that must make you feel, but it must not feel very good.
It's
Like,
well, it's hard to explain
Well,
it because
dude.
it just feels like the way that I look at stuff is just so differently. It's just
Yeah, but
Like-
if the person that you're in love with and the person that's supposed to have been by your side basically says, for lack of a better word, you ruined my life. And because I had to take care of you and I had to do all this other shit for you.
I just sum that up to maybe someone just having a fucking bad day. Like I think I don't take it seriously because I understand people better than anyone, and I think that obviously, like I said, people can have a bad day or they can just have a bad memory slip up or hear a name that they don't like and it just pisses them off for that moment, like Randy or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I talk about South Park all the time, right? And I talk about Randy, which is the dad. But when I realize when I say that name and I look up, I could like see the expression in her face when she's like doing something at the time. You know what I mean? Like,
You're walking on eggshells, Duty. Why you can't keep doing this for the rest of your life, bro.
I know.
You can't. You can't. Okay. So I'm gonna take off the whole, oh, let's just be mediocre about it and everything like that. Dude, you can't keep doing this. You can't. All right. I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life. I'm not telling you what decisions to make. I'm just telling you cannot do this for the rest of your life. Okay. You can't do it, man. Life is gonna get more complicated. You're gonna get older. You know, maybe the money's going to start running out.
Eventually, yeah.
You can't keep doing this. Dude, you can't keep doing this for the rest of your fucking life.
I know.
If
It's
somebody's not
almost
making
like the
your
only
life
time
better-
she's gonna be happy is if I'm going through this shit for 8 years, and then she'll be like, "Hey, we're even now," like it's a big game or something, like tit for tat.
Possibly. Yeah.
Like I chose to
possibly.
do that to you on purpose, right? She's doing it on purpose to me, on purpose. I didn't do it on
looks-
purpose.
She honestly, and let me be perfectly honest with you, I think a part of her feels like you ruined her life.
Yeah. No, I know. I get that feeling too.
There's no coming back from that, man.
It,
There's
well,
no coming
there
back
is,
from
but
that.
when someone obsesses about the past all the time, you can't get rid of that. Someone
You're
can
too-
get over
here's
it
the
if
thing,
they
you're
don't bring
too
up.
forgiving. You're too forgiving, man. Okay, let me put it this way. I understand, and again, like I said, I am not trying to tell you. How
I don't
to
think it's
be-
more forgiving. I think it's understanding. I think. Like a normal person
hey-
wouldn't be bringing up the past like that all the time. So someone that does bring
But
up the
come-
past is going to have a harder time having relationships because when someone does something wrong, and again, it's going to all those are going to get brought up. But someone that doesn't have that issue can probably easily reconcile a relationship when something stupid happens.
So, question: are you willing to deal with this for the rest of your life?
If it's like this, no. Obviously
Simple
not.
question. Okay, so you're willing to forgive her for basically saying that you ruined her life. You're willing to forgive her for throwing everything in your face about all the shit that you've been through and everything that happened. You're willing to forgive her for that.
I'm allowed to
Yeah?
forgive her for that, I think, because I will always remember that she was there for me. I'm not going to say like she wasn't, okay? It's not that I get pissed because she says the last 8 years and I'm sitting there going, no, it's not true. No, I get it.
she was.
And there was a lot of those moments where, yeah, it meant a lot. It felt a lot. Like when she visited me in the hospital, she was the only one that visited me. You know, like my mom and dad didn't even, like my dad came a couple times, but literally a couple. I know he was having his own issues too, and obviously I found out a little bit later his issues were obviously a little bit more serious than I thought. But like,
Right.
no one else from the family came. And she came with food and stuff like that. So I get it, and I think that's why sometimes I'm very forgiving for the freakouts that she does, because I just look back and I'm like, you know what? I don't care if she wants to freak out. Like that situation did mean a lot to me, and you know.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
like.
she's using that. She's
Oh, I
hurting
know.
you, bro.
Oh, I know.
She's hurting you. When you love somebody, you don't do that. In life, you're meant to be used. You're not meant to be abused. It's a very.
I was
it's a
just
very-
hoping that someone close to her, like Kevin, or her mom would literally, because they do have a common sense. Me and her mom in the last couple of years are great. We agree on a lot of stuff when we're having conversations with Kayla and that, and I'll say something, and then her mom will be like, yeah, no, he's right about that. That's the way you should be doing it. Like, that's how it's been going. It's been great, and I was always hoping that she would tell this story to her family, and they'd sit there and go, okay, so what's happening now, though? He's like, well, once we moved in February, like I lost my keys and I couldn't get in for like a half hour, so I got mad at him for that. And they'll be like, well, does he do anything around the house? Well, yeah, he does the laundry, he cooks, he does all stuff like that. And, well, what's he doing now? Well, he's got a new job full time at a factory, and I'm hoping they'll be like, well, what's the issue? I know you wanted it before, but you're not going to get this somewhere else. And if you
But
do,
that's
it's going
not
to
what
take years.
matters. But that's not what matters, dude. You have to look at it in the sense of that's not what matters to Kayla. Okay? Like I said, dude, you could come home, she could come home tomorrow and you could be jumping around the house doing backflips. Doesn't matter. She's holding on to years worth of shit.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's too much to even fuck, man. You
Years.
can't fix that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that is like therapy. That is
It
therapy
is.
level shit.
It is.
You guys need to go, if anything, you guys need to go to therapy. And I'm honestly gonna probably tell you this straight up. Kayla, if she does have fucking mental health problems, needs to stop smoking weed.
Oh, I know. That's why I
she
want.
has to.
Someone did suggest that actually. One of the owners at Joe Dogs, I was telling him last week or 2 weeks ago. He's like, "Oh, where's
Start talking
Kayla?"
your fucking shit.
Well, yeah, she's like, "Where's Kayla?" And I'm like, you know, the honest truth, we're broken up, man. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and lie. I can't. You know, we're broken up, and we were talking, and then he was like, "You know what? Maybe you just need that third person. You just need that person in the room that has a degree. You know." Because advice from anyone else is always pretty much.
I've tried to talk to Kayla. I have tried to talk to Kayla before, and she gets that little attitude that she has, where she's like, "Yeah, everything's fine." And me, in my head, I was like, "Well, I know you're lying."
Yeah.
Right? And part of me wants to confront her. Like, you know how many times you've been in the room and she's been like bitchy that I've wanted to like just get into fights with her, like because of the way she's acting, but I just don't do it. Because I know you're there. Like that one time she freaked out at me because I was like, "Kayla, you look really sleepy." And she's like, "Mama!" And she went off at me. And I was like, Denny has to deal with this shit. I don't.
Yeah.
And it got really uncomfortable. I could tell you got pissed off at me because I said that shit.
I don't even remember that.
Got mad because...
I don't.
Oh, I remember it. I remember it because the way you were looking at me, you were like, "Motherfucker, do you know the shit that you just caused for me?" Because I knew you guys were going to go home and have a fight about it.
Where was this?
Like,
so it wasn't here?
This was in Burlington. This was in Burlington when you were still living at your parents' house. Kayla looked super tired, okay? And she was like mumbling and she was like meh, 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 and she was being bitchy. We went for dinner. She was being bitchy. I was trying to talk to her. She was being bitchy. She was being bitchy.
I don't even
towards
remember
you.
this shit.
And I was getting fucking irritated. I was like, "I'm down here visiting you, right? To see you," and she's just sitting there like, like an angry dwarf.
Oh,
you know
wow.
what I mean? And it was pissing me off. And I'm not going to lie to you. I was like, okay, well, this is kind of ruining things, right? So I was like, "Kayla, I think you need to go home and get some sleep." Like, I'm pretty sure she had just, like, worked for 12 hours or whatever, so she was tired, right? So I was like, "Kayla, you look really tired." She's like, "I'm not fucking tired." And I was like, whoa. I was like, okay. And then I left it alone, and then we were heading back, and we were stopping at the store, and she was, like, falling asleep in the back seat of the car. I was like, "Kayla, you should probably go home and, like, get some sleep." And she fucking went off on me in the back seat. And I looked her dead in the face, and I was like, "You're being a bitch." And I was like, "Denny has to put up with this shit. I fucking don't." And you were in the front seat, and you spun around and gave me, like, the dirtiest fucking look. And she was like, You know what I mean? Like, she didn't know what to say. And I was like, fuck.
Oh,
Right?
wow.
That's why
I don't even know
don't-
why I don't remember that shit. There's a lot of shit
Dude,
that,
like-
that I don't remember, though, apparently. Like, stuff you say I
She-
did as a kid and stuff like that. I don't remember any of that shit.
Well, I mean, anyway, it is what it is. It doesn't matter how I feel about her. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter
yeah.
how she feels about me. All I'm saying is that if there has been times in the past where it's been like, it looks like I have a problem with Kayla, it's because I never thought she liked me. And she's always been very standoffish with me in a sense, and I always feel like I need to walk on eggshells with her.
I think
Like, I
the
always feel like
time
I'm
that
gonna
you
say
were
that.
dating Steph, I think that's the time where she didn't like you, I think. Because I actually
Yeah.
never get she like, because obviously she would tell me the truth regardless. Like, she's always like told me up
Yeah.
front about stuff. Yeah, she liked you, but I think the time that she didn't was when you were dating Steph, because I don't think she liked Steph.
Yeah. Well, no. Anyway,
Oh,
I'm
and,
not trying to make it personal.
Oh, no,
I'm not trying to make it personal.
no. I'm just saying because I think they had something in school. I don't know what it was. I don't really care or ask what the history was, but. And then, I just actually just reminded me now. So, the conversation the other day where you were telling me all that information, and then I found out Mallory told you. So when they told you all that controlling shit, and I told you that her friend had a bachelorette party and she chose not to go on her own because if she was allowed to, then I would obviously be allowed to at one point when I got invited. So she didn't want to go for that reason. And I was trying to think of her friend's name the whole time. And I was like, what the fuck was it? And I'm going, okay, it wasn't Mallory, because that was the first friend that pulled shit. And then I'm thinking, and then I was like, bam, it was the fucking other girl.
What girl?
The girl that was with Mallory talking all that shit with you.
Oh, fucking what's her face? The girl I ruined her marriage because
Yeah.
you didn't like her?
She, I remember that because she made a big ass deal of it. I forget her name. What was her name? Desiree? No.
No, I know.
Lori.
I know who you're talking
Lori.
about. I fucked her life up, man.
Good.
You know why? Do you know why I did that? And I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. You know why
What?
I did that? Because I heard all the shit that she was causing for you, all the problems that she was causing for you. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I could sit here and lie to you. I just wanted to get my dick wet and stuff like that. I honestly fucked up that bitch's life because of all the shit she was doing.
Good.
It was revenge.
Because
It was revenge.
Because when you were telling me like, they said that I'm controlling and stuff like that, I look back at my life and I was like, there was only one time where one of her friends thought that I was controlling, and I was like, it was Lori about the Bachelorette part. And then when you were telling me that Mallory and Lori were the ones that contacted you, I was like, oh my god, now it fucking makes sense. I literally found the last piece of the puzzle under the couch. Like, it literally made sense. And I was like, because Lori's a big bitch. You know. No, I don't mean like that. I just meant like.
She's figuratively and literally. She was. She lost a lot of weight or something like that. Anyway, I don't care.
Well, I'm glad her marriage is ruined. I hope her whole life is ruined right now. I hope they're both like if I heard they were both dead, I would seriously laugh. Want to know why? Because no karma in life is going to give me what I've already dealt with. I do shit on purpose just to see the karma. I'm like, fuck you, karma. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to make my life worse? Like, fuck you.
Okay. We're kind of getting off topic, but yeah, it was those bitches that caused that whole problem. Here's what I'm trying to figure out, okay? And this is what's important to me.
Oh, I didn't move my character.